Good evening, people, and welcome to episode 2 of IDealaWorld 2026. Hope you're all well. Right, so I thought I'd do something a bit more fun for us today. So we are going to be delving into this over the forthcoming episodes about where I've been, what I've been doing, what I've been through, and how I've come to this point of actually doing these videos today. I've got some really excellent stuff to tell you. Some not so good stuff to tell you. You know, my life's not been a picnic either. But, you know, talking about music, talking about ADHD, talking about drugs, legal highs, stimulants, mental health, I thought we would do something fun today. Now, today we're going to listen to a couple of the songs I brought out at the time. Now, I am going to do some other episodes where I don't know, what do they call it these days? We're going to react to them. So I'm going to explain to you about these songs. Now, I'm not going to lie, at the time, I thought these were brilliant. But I'd never made a song before either. You know, it was quite a stepping out my comfort zone time for me. Now, the first song I'm going to listen to is IDealaWorld. Now, this was inspired by the fact that at the time, Gordon Brown, Alan Johnson, were making quite a big campaign to, ban legal highs. I think really at the time it was just spice. Like, I always found this bit weird with legal highs when they're out, like, you'd think that the pills and the powder would have made, more of a negative impact on society than the smoke. But it just didn't really. I know there's problems like Meow Meow and MCAT and stuff and that, but again, a lot of that was, just unscrupulous people selling it to young'uns, stuff like that. It got quite rife. And it's not something that was ever my favourite, can be completely honest. But this song came about because essentially what happened was, right, like, when you go into hospital, all of us are the same. It's the same with tabs, isn't it? You go to hospital, you're there for 2 or 3 hours, and, as soon as you come out, you spark up a tab because you're just busting for a tab in it. Well, the original Spice Gold that actually had the synthetic cannabinoids in, not the counterfeit stuff, not the benzodiazepine Subutex stuff, just the original stuff, which I found better for my brain, to be honest. I don't know why. Obviously, when we look at cannabis, you can't do a direct comparison because, this is the other problem people have with that. A lot of people have a very bad and negative attitude towards weed. Weed's one of those things where if you use it as a medicine, it will be a medicine. If you use it as a drug, it will be a drug. But I found it at that time a lot better and a lot more conducive to me than a lot of the strains that I used throughout my life. Some of them made me quite ill. Now, obviously, back in that time, I didn't realise I was bipolar. So just a message to anyone out there, if you do have bipolar, one, as I've just said, if you use it as a medicine, it will be a medicine. If you use it as a drug, it will be a drug. It's up to you to choose which one of them you want it to be. A crutch of good or a crutch of bad. Now, the other thing with weed is there's hundreds of thousands of strains. You've got indica, sativa, ruderalis, and believe it or not, the terpene profile of that plant makes a massive difference to the effect and relief, so to speak, of what you get from that. There is other certain things to take into account, like the CBD to THC ratio, how much THC is actually in that plant. What other cannabinoids like CBN, CBG, CBC, all these make a massive difference to the effect that you get. Now, for someone like me, everyone's different, but for someone like me with ADHD and bipolar, sativa or sativa dominant is much better for me. I find using things like indica massively mess up my mental health. It can send me really, really badly spiraling with my bipolar. It makes me very ill and, I'm not going to lie, at times turn me very, very aggressive and very, very angry. So, if you have any of these conditions or you have comorbid conditions and weed is something that you use, please be very careful about what you're consuming. Because, like everything in life, whether it's food, drink, drugs, whatever you consume and put in here, that's what the outside of your world's going to be. What we put in here projects into the real day-to-day of our lives. So be very careful with that. But yeah, so I found it at that time a lot more conducive to me And because I found it helped me, I guess I wanted to share that with other people. And you know, IDealer was born out of me becoming addicted to drugs, but in a place where I was surrounded by a lot of bad people. A lot of bad people. I mean, to be fair, I say bad people. Maybe they were just mentally ill and became an addict, and you know, that projection of what they were putting in their body and how their minds went became their outside world, you know? Who's to judge? But that's essentially what it was born out of. And you know, one thing I realised originally when I was addicted to drugs, a lot of the problem we get with drugs, you know, in society is how it's peddled, how it's sold, you know, the people that are in charge of it. And you get sucked into that world. And I think the general culture, you know, of the world of drugs is far more damaging at points and at times than the drug that you're taking. So basically what happened was, you know, Gordon Brown and Alan Johnson, you know, were trying to make this big move for themselves. And what happened was, basically, someone went to hospital. You know, I can't remember if it was for an operation or, you know, it might have been just ill. You know, it could have been bipolar, could have been, you know, broke the leg. I can't quite remember. And basically, this guy ended up kicking off because he wanted to go for a joint of, you know, the original Spice Gold that was proper. And then there was this big hoo-ha about it. He must have kicked off in a hospital. I don't know if he hit someone or whatever. It was just obviously just a radgy guy. And that's how it first got brought to media attention. But let's face it, as I just said, you know, even when you're at a hospital, you want a tab, you know, you're climbing the walls if you're proper addicted to nicotine, aren't you? And then, you know, as it got further down the line, I can't remember who else it was, but then it was Theresa May. You know, people just wanted to make a name for themselves by doing something fantastic. But I guess, you know, the sensible thing would have been to do is to regulate the market and make it very stringent. And that's what I was trying to do at the time. Now, blanket banning it in the end didn't really have the desired effect, does it? Like, we're 10 years on now. People are still finding it somehow. Granted, it's not the original stuff. Most of it's not even got the legal high compounds in that were from that age. It's just people just bashing stuff, and they've bought some bags from China that's got spice written on it. So, you know, I suppose if I give you a tablet and a paracetamol packet, you assume it's paracetamol. But that's where it went, and that's where, you know, for me, this is where this song was born out of. You know, it was born out of my torture, really, my bad addiction, my bad experiences within that world of drug addiction, being surrounded by people who are not nice people. You know, we'll leave it at that. Not nice people. So let's take a listen to this song. You know, I haven't listened to this for about 2 or 3 years now, so we'll do it together. And, you know, I remember writing this, you know, I actually wrote this in Dublin. So I was in this restaurant in Dublin. And I remember clear as day because it had, there was a lot of gold on the roof and I had these chandeliers. It was really posh, but very economically priced. And I remember saying to the guy, I was like, oh, have you got a pad and a pen? And I was listening to 2 songs on repeat. One of them was an N-Dub song. I can't remember which one it was. And one was a Timbaland song. And I actually wrote the lyrics of this song to them beats. And then obviously, you know, a good friend of mine, Silver at the time, I asked him to kind of, you know, sing it, rap it and all that, because I couldn't, but I didn't have the confidence to either. He made a few slight little adjustments to make it kind of fit and work and flow, but I'm still very proud of this song, you know. So let's listen to this together. And yes, I've still got this. I found this at the unit about 3 months ago.
You know you gotta decide for yourself. It's your mental health. It's your life, you must live it. The choices are yours. It's your right to explore.
Right to explore.
So come help create it. IDealaWorld.
And believe it or not, at this point, we were quite big in Japan and America.
Becoming an issue. Drugs are getting misused, created a legal high, and now we're all clean as a whistle. No need for the theft, no need to regret. Those desperate times are a thing to forget. Legal highs get us all off our necks, just legally now I can smoke in excess. Green, white, brown, golden. this guy is full of shite. Applaud him. Our legal highs get reported. Flush these political views down the toilet. Now you found a legal herbal kit. Turn to illegal alternatives. Tax money, drug dealers are earning it. Overdose of the numbers are murdering.
And like, even look at the economy today. How much difference would this have made to the economy if it could be done in a safe, regulated, managed, protected, duty of care way? Like, have we got rid of all legal highs? Have we got rid of drugs, drug addiction, crime, bad culture? No! So whether you agree with it or not, this is the route we should have went down, because everything's just worse now.
Life's like an hallucinogen. Drugs, I don't wanna lose again. So when your life is feeling hopeless, stick this in your pipe and smoke it. Talk it, pick up the phone and talk.
It's a good beat though, isn't it? You gotta admit that kicking's brilliant.
The drug-free UK is what the price is. Cigarettes are legal, so it's alcohol.
And they still are. Don't care about us that much, do they?
So government figures, please legalize them. Gordon Brown tried to stop my mission. Why should I listen? Live by the system. Once completed, in the end, nobody needs to take drugs again.
Decide for yourself. It's your mental health. It's your life, you must live it. The choices are yours. It's your right to explore. And isn't that the basis of life? Experience. Finding out for yourself. Making mistakes. Learning, growing. Finding what works for you. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's why people end up being addicts with drugs, alcohol, tabs. But they're all still here.
Lazy aristocrats going tit for tat. And Alan Johnson's like a bitch I bash.
And I was right. When he did leave, he didn't come back, did he? Britain taking the O out of country. Anyone else feel like this has changed? And this was about David Nutt, who also said, Professor David Nutt, he said, oh, this should be legalised and regulated properly, and they got rid of him. And do you know who he was? The ACMD expert. The Council for Misuse and Drugs. They took no notice of. Hey, Britain. Hello? Still a banging tune though. Hey yo! That's just my cringy voice. But yeah, I really enjoyed making that song, you know. I remember it was like it was yesterday. One of the best experiences of my life. But like I say, when you listen to the words of that, I was trying to send a message. I was trying to create a movement. I was trying to get it so... I mean, we could look at it this way. There might be a lot of people watching this that disagree with me. And, you know, I'm going back to this stupid message I got off this... I don't know who he is. Just someone trying to be a troll, I guess. But it's like, I feel like saying to people, you know, like when people say, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Like, oh, that's cool. So, have you written a letter or flown a plane to Canada to have a go at the Canadian president for legalising all drugs in Canada? Because I'm sure, as it stands at the moment, cocaine, heroin, steroids, amphetamine, ecstasy, everything you can buy in Canada now. Are you having a go at him? No? Oh, I didn't think so. And I look at Portugal. I'm sure Portugal's legalised everything as well. Has anyone gone to Portugal to have a go at him? No? Oh, I didn't think so. And this is what I mean. And this is the point I was trying to get across at the time. You know, we're in 2026 now. Is drugs a problem? Yes. Is it rife? Yes. Is fake legal, counterfeit, not really legal highs still a problem because they're in a packet? Yes. Is alcohol still a problem? Yes. Cigarettes a problem? Yes. Does all this have a burdening effect on the country and the NHS? Yes. Is there any mental health support for people? No. Is there much addiction support for people? No. Do we have lots of homeless people? Yes. Is there much support for them? No. Is there any underpinning, even people who are not an addict and have a house, is there any support for their mental health, mental well-being? No. You know, you need a psychiatrist for a referral now. How long does it take? It used to take, 8 to 12 weeks back in the day. Now it takes, 16 weeks, 24 weeks, 26 weeks, 52 weeks. Even down to ADHD assessment. Do you know how long that takes now to actually get finalised, especially in the Northeast? You're probably waiting about 5 to 7 years now. And this is why people end up self-medicating. You You know, we can't really judge why people take drugs. You know, there's a massive amount of reasons. But what we should have is regulation, duty of care, mental health support. None of this has changed. If anything, it's got worse. So did this have the lasting, underpinning, foundational impact it was meant to have? No. Anyway, so let's listen to this other one. This song I'm very proud of. I really am, you know. Now, I did 2 versions of this song. So I'm going to play the second version, and the next time I do an episode, I'll play the first version. Are you ready? Let's do this. I remember I sat with a producer making this, so I call myself a co-producer. And like everything you hear, like was in my mind, I picked out, we sorted, like the guy was brilliant, you know, spoke fluent German. And it took us a good while to make this, but I was so proud of it. Real drug dealers are killing the nation. Anything changed? Always have to heal all the patients. Anything changed? Look after the younger generation. Anything changed? We test everything ourselves, take the ups and downs, the ills and the wells. And that made my mental health quite bad. We care more for the customers than care for themselves. Everyone points a finger but never abuse. 13-year-old like alcohol's just fine, isn't it? This a devil's poison, a demon's jewel, but it costs more deaths than a bomb and nuclear fuel. If you've been through the mill, you will know it's no fairground thrill. More feeling suicidal, stress to kill. We need stabilizers and a stronger will.
We teach what we preach and our word is concrete. I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high?
Jacob stood for justice and commitment of balance.
We teach what we preach and our word is concrete. I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high now? Tell me are you high right now? In the name of Jacob. When I was on Charlie, I got polished to Mr. C. Now I'm on legal case, the stablest I've ever been. Seem to be from G, people play for different teams. Even Kevin Costner got this field of dreams. But from the time it's taken, I will never forget. We live in a tragedy, so gotta watch my steps. People judge me by size, hate on sight and criticize. Open up to talk, shine, enable media lies. I sprung from the dirt, got over being hurt. I own my own businesses, no 9 to 5s, no ties or shirts. So keep your lips away from slick wigs. By the lick of your lips, I can tell this shit's addictive. Alcohol's the worst, just cause it's legal, don't make it right. Vodka tastes like petrol, even mixed with Sprite. See, we ain't so different, you and I. Neither of us wanna see our family as a funeral sites. We teach what we preach and our word is concrete. I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high now? Tell me are you high right now? In the name of Jacob. We teach what we preach and our word is concrete. I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high now? Tell me are you high in the name of Jacob. Lines I used to take them. Monday morning wondering how I'm gonna pay for them. Wanna quit but I can't keep away from it. Rack up, sniff up, and I'm locked up. A night is stocked up, barricade doors up, it had to stop. Money, girls, respect, I lost a lot. But from a great height, landed in a dealer shop. We teach what we preach and our word is concrete. I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high now? Tell me are you high right now? We teach what we preach and our word is concrete. I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high now? Tell me are you high?
No, I'm not actually.
We teach what we preach.
Things have changed a lot over the years.
I desire and flee to achieve in the name of Jacob. And tell me are you high now? Tell me are you high right now?
So if you look on the YouTube channel, you should find a video that we made for that as well. It's not the best, but I am still quite a fan of it. But yeah, even a lot in that song, you know, it still rings so true now. You know, nothing much has actually changed, has it? And you know, and this is what I was trying to get the point across at the time. You know, we live in the world that we live. You know, there's countries that are literally legalizing everything. You know, I think the last time I checked, you know, about 2 or 3 years after Portugal had legalized everything, crime had gone down, drug crime had gone down, the economy was boosting, there was less homeless people on the streets, there was less prostitution, there was less people using crack and heroin, there was less deaths from drugs. You know, there's so many implications of, you know, having a system where legality and morality and having a duty of care and, you know, and regulation, it's proven that it does help, you know. And I guess one of my earlier kind of ideas was. Because when you look at it, even, obviously, I mean, I think cannabis on a medical prescription has been available since 2018, although they were very, very strict upon it then. And it started loosening the reins a bit around 2020, 21, 22. And they're fantastic services to use as well. But nothing much has actually changed, And I think, we either live in a world where we just ban coffee, tabs, alcohol, and put people in jail for 100 years for even having a drug, which some countries do, by the way. But it's just a stupid thing to say, isn't it? The human civilization has been smoking tobacco or, psychoactive plants or, making certain concoctions since the dawn of time. For the last 2,000, 6,000, 12,000 years, the human race has been doing this. And I think taking the option away from people also takes away education, regulation, safety. Because that's the other thing, obviously we have medical cannabis now. So they have a duty of care to all their patients. They have to make sure their product is good, safe, explain dosages, share best practice. You don't get that when things are illegal. And I guess it's the other reason why I wanted to make this video. Because we're now 10 years on, and nothing's changed. Whether you want to call it drugs, legal highs, alcohol, tabs. I mean, statistically, they say tabs is better. But it is very rife in this country. And when you look at other countries that have legalised everything, but, underpinned it with a moral structure, a code of conduct, duty of care, them countries are better. Because, again, it's the culture surrounding the illegality and the mindset and mind frame of the people peddling those things that makes it bad. I'm not saying drugs don't make things bad. When you become an addict, your life will always get worse. And I mean that for everything, whether it's booze, drink, or drugs. They all affect our lives badly, the short term and the long term. So if you can refrain from it, then just don't do it. It's the best advice I could give anyone. But I still think there needs to come to a point in this world where somehow we eradicate everything that is bad for people, or we regulate it. And it's been 10 years now, an entire decade, and nothing has changed for the better. And I guess the reason everything isn't banned is because a lot of the people that's in charge of all this stuff use this stuff. I don't know if you can remember over lockdown where there was that big news article on the news. A few people reported where they basically dusted down the Houses of Parliament and it's just smeared in cocaine. Like they found it on every surface, in the toilets, in the offices, everything. And that's the people running the country, man. A lot of highly successful, important, power-type people use this stuff. But I guess when drugs are used in a form of scarcity, depravity, poor mentality, that's where the problems come in. And that's why as a nation, as a city, as a county, they keep us in lack. Because when you keep people in lack, they'll always want something. And in turn, that also affects your vibrational frequency of who you are. When your mind is constantly in a state of lack or in a state of need in regards to addiction, your life will always have endurance. Your life will always endure. You will always have bad. You will always have lack. Because it's the mirrored manifestation of who you are and the predicament you're in. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'm not saying that. It's just born of lack and depravity. And the lower they keep our vibration down, the harder life is for us. And people won't rise up against these systems we have. And that's just where they need us to be. And that's why you have to buy drugs from someone who doesn't care about your mental health, mental well-being, or physical well-being. Because that perpetuates a loop. And unfortunately, that serves those higher up. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you for very much for watching and listening to episode 2. I will be back very soon to do an episode 3, and we'll see where this takes us. If you're interested, like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever. And in the next forthcoming episodes, I will be telling you a lot more about myself and my journey over the last 10 years of where I've been. And what I'm hoping to do in 2026 to help people with their mental health, with their addictions, with their diagnoses, with their assessments, and ultimately trying to educate you guys so you can learn about yourself, learn about your mental health, understand who you are, and maybe even adapt a bit of spirituality into your life. Because there's one thing I've learned in life: you can't escape yourself. Once you start stepping out of the dark and you step into the light, the universe will mirror things back to you until you've learned. You can decide not to face it. You can decide to go the other way. But the universe won't give up on you. It will constantly repeat the same lessons until you've learned. The more you step into that light, it will mirror back to you what you need to learn. So invest in yourself, because you matter and you're worth it. Okay? Much love and peace from me. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.